Hi everyone, it's me, Mr. James calling, and in this video, it's a different kind of video. I'm talking about Ukraine. I'm just going to scoot over a little. I'm talking about Ukraine and about the stuff that's going on there. Yeah, so firstly, I want to say this is going to be like a chat thing, like come on, tell me stuff, because I'm pretty much want you guys that are watching to chat to me about what's going on. Pretty much I just want to know what is going on, either live, preferably live, and let's hope see what happens, and even off live, comments below and chat about it. Now, I just want some disclaimers about what I'm going to say when I'm talking about the country Ukraine, or any country in Eurovision. What I am referring to is either, well, both the broadcaster and the delegation. It's what I mean. I'm not talking about the government. I'm not talking about the country of Ukraine. I'm not talking about the people of Ukraine, the public people. I'm talking about the broadcasters and the delegation. So that when we talk in countries, when Eurovision, all the time, by the way, all the time, when anyone is discussing about countries, we're just using that as like, because that's what the song is representing. You know, it's Australia. But it's not really Australia, it's just the Australian song. So we say that, and when we talk about things and we criticize things, very, very rarely are we actually talking about the government. And usually people will even say like the Ukrainian government if they want to say something about the government. So I just want to make that clear to some people. I think people can get heated, people can get a little overwhelmed, but we're talking about the broadcaster, the decisions made by the broadcaster and the delegation. So also, comments, anything. I'm not going to delete any of your comments unless it's hate speech. Like I always say, hate speech in any way. Apart from that, I will never delete, I will never block your comments. So there you go. Chat, let's chat. Until then, I have something. If this went all wrong and no one chats live, I do have something to talk about anyway, because there was a national selection in Ukraine and I did watch it and I did make notes. It's very redundant now, but I will give my review of my top 6. And yeah, and then we'll talk about what's happened, and I'll talk about what's happened and join in. And I'll stop everything and chat when someone chats. So let's begin. Let's talk about, I'm going to talk about anyway, by myself, my least favorite song of the national selection, my 6th favorite. And it's interesting. My 6th favorite is Cupidon by Freedom Jazz. I thought the 3 of them had a great chemistry, and I loved their harmonies and timing. They even had good comedic timing, yet I thought the whole setup with the planes and everything was a bit bizarre. It was full on, but bizarre. I needed something with a little bit more dynamic. This was 3 minutes of peculiar, yet technically good music. Reminds me of something on the sidewalk of a theme park. If you go to like a Disneyland and you kind of walk around and get an ice cream, there's like a barbershop quartet that are like a ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-boo, and you're like, ooh, I'm thoroughly entertained. But I mean, for Eurovision, and it wasn't on the same scale as like, you know, I'm thinking of Treble, which didn't even make the final. So, and amongst others that were similar like that, which I can't think of off the top of my head. I wasn't feeling it for Eurovision, but I did think they were probably, if you had to like list them as most skilled, I'd put them as my 2nd or 3rd most skilled people. The song itself, 6. Fifth place goes to, and I'll just check if I have any comments about what's going on. Comment about the scandal with Ukraine. I'd love to know what you think about everything. Maybe educate me a little more stuff that's going on with Maruv. So yeah. Until then, I'm going to talk about my fifth favorite song, which was Maruv, Siren song. Firstly, Maruv has amazing hair. Love the wet hair look. She looks on point. She looks great. I'm not a fan of this song though. A lot of high whimpering for me, and then an entire instrumental section dressed up as a chorus. And then it continued, and then she continued whimpering after that very long instrumental chorus. The song, nope. I need more than a bam, 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 bam. It's like, why even be there? Why even be there? Granted, she looks like a star, she dances like a star, and she performs like a star, but not much vocally to critique on except for the annoying whimpering for me. Yeah, I didn't get it. She obviously, everyone knows now that she won, but the song itself did not do it for me at all. Comments, let's see if we've got any updated comments. No. So I'm going to talk about my fourth favorite, and you can interrupt at any time. My fourth favorite was Galyna, Guliala by Yuko. I preferred this one live over the audio, which I found rather boring from listening to the audio. I like how powerful her rapping and singing is live. It was like an anthem. I saw the audience getting really into it, the balls dropping and everything. It was very entertaining to watch. And it kind of went from like a 4 to an 8. I thought she did a really good job. And I mean, yeah, I thought it was a good job. So I actually didn't mind this one. I liked the rest, really. Like I said, comment. Let me know on your thoughts with the scandal. I will address it after my top 6. My third favorite went to Houston by Brunettes, Shoot Blondes. Yep, that's the name. This song is giving me an Our City vibe, and I love Our City. I love the kind of things he does. Yeah, I was getting that. So political references in this song too. I heard a little bit of Brexit in there. I love the studio of this more than the live version, actually. But I liked how they performed it live still with the piano and drums. It had like a bohemian performance style for me. Still vocally, it was not impressive to represent Ukraine at Eurovision. Think about it on the whole when it performs. I think it will just fall a little flat. It was very chill, but definitely a chill Sunday listen for me nonetheless. I'm going to put this song in my Spotify in a playlist that's like chill playlist. Definitely on a chill Sunday, like I said, I will listen to this song. And the audio I really liked, so I'd be happy to hear it. Yeah. So my second favorite goes to My Road by Anna Maria. Okay, what's up with the sisters theme this year? There are sisters everywhere. I think Denmark had some sisters. I think Sweden had some sisters. Germany definitely had some sisters, which are going through. We got a lot of sisters. They look like identical twins nonetheless. I'm just assuming that Ireland is going to be bringing Jedward back with this kind of trend. They're like, I see a opening for siblings. This was a great song live compared to the audio. It's interesting with this. I had a lot of that. The audio and the live versions were really different for me. But I thought it was very chilled in the audio. Live, so much stronger and so much better. I like how they progressed through the song as well. Slightly pitchy in the soft parts of the verses, and the harmonies kind of got a little bit off sometimes. But I like how the chorus exploded at the end, and there were some great belts, which I loved, all from one singer I noticed. I liked the stage design, although very similar to Germany. Stage design with the kind of, instead their platform didn't move, but they had them like on each like angle of a stage. However, there was just no hooking melody there for me to give it a first. I really wanted to because the last chorus really won me over. But I had to go with pitchiness at the beginning and just not a hooky melody enough. So for that, I gave it second, a respectable second. My favorite from the Ukraine national selection, which is now redundant and it doesn't really matter because none of them are going, is Apart from Kazka. I thought vocally the singer of this was of the strongest caliber. Most contemporary and competition-like voice. It's still lacking some strength. I wasn't really a fan of the traditional backing singers, like in traditional attire, but I'm thinking from what I definitely know now that was out of Kazka's decision-making. This song is hauntingly special, though. I would have liked to have seen some vocal riffs and to let loose a little at the end, though. I don't know if the feedback at the end was intentional enough, because she was like, da da da. And I was like, and then she's like trying to move her mic. I was like, I don't know if maybe she didn't expect the microphone to make that feedback sound. But I was like, I'm actually liking that feedback. It kind of has a great end to the song. So yeah, yeah, but I liked it. I dug the song. I bought into the song. I could see how a lot of people might not. I feel like a lot of these, like I said, there was a German one I think we were talking about that I said was similar to On a Sunday. I totally forget now which one it was. But I also thought this one was on a similar kind of theme to Romania's On a Sunday, which is going through for Romania. I hear a lot of those songs going through, the hauntingly special songs. It had that. Anyway, regardless, it doesn't really matter because Maruv won with that song called Siren Song. So that got through. This is where it gets juicy now. What I want to say firstly is that I've loved Jamala from the beginning. I've loved 1944 from the beginning. I wasn't on that kind of bandwagon. And I will also say that for Eurovision fans, when things get political, it's just so, we're just sad. Like, we're disappointed, we're sad, because we put all this effort into the music. We really do. The music, the songs, the performers, all that kind of thing. We talk about we get political, we get Eurovision political, like Romania. And that's as political and juicy as we get. That's pretty big for us. So when it starts to get actually political like this, that is out of our hands, we're like, oh, you're actually tarnishing the reputation of Eurovision right now. So yeah. Jamala asked a question. This is from things, I'm going to talk about things. I was a little bit active on the fan club earlier this morning on Facebook. So a lot of these things I'm getting comments from actual people telling me stuff. All of this is alleged. And I'll keep saying allegedly, but allegedly, because I actually haven't watched the whole national selection. I've seen the performance videos on YouTube because that's how this is. I didn't actually watch it live, so I couldn't have seen it. But apparently, allegedly, what people have told me is that Jamala, every person that's sang had like a question at the end of their song that was similar, kind of like a Miss America question, where it was like, now I'm going to ask you a difficult question. And it was unrelated to Eurovision. It was unrelated to music many times. That's just allegedly. I don't have proof of that. But as I know from seeing some videos that people have shared, Jamala asked, Ukraine, uncomfortable question. Ukraine is no, not Ukraine. Crimea is part of Ukraine. She's like, what the heck are you doing to me right now? And then she said, yeah, it is. And then she was like, okay, I've made up my answer. Good girl. Yeah, so it was super awkward. It was super not called for. If this was actually Eurovision, that would be grounds for dismissal from that country, from Ukraine in this particular case. From what other people have told me, allegedly, there aren't any rules from the EBU about what to do guidelines for a national selection and for choosing your selection. So this is why that kind of gets a pass. Thoughts on any of that? I'd love, or just comments. I'd love to know. No one is watching right now. You are missing out on really good time. I would have loved to know what people are talking about. I'm sure I'm going to get comments after this. I would have loved comments live so I could talk about it live. But anyway, if no one wants to talk about what Jamala said to Maruv, we shall move on with the other stuff that's happening. So then Maruv has declared the winner with Siren Song. And by the way, she was first in the televote, second in the jury vote, which made her first. So she went through. I woke up to finding out that Maruv has withdrawn from Eurovision and will not be representing Ukraine, and that Ukraine will be doing an internal selection. And I was like, huh? I was so shocked. And then I put on the fan club, I said, why would Ukraine have an internal selection now why can't they just pick the runner-up? And someone said to me that all the contestants refused to partake. I don't know if they mean like the 6 out of the semifinal or all 16 that 18, was it? 18, all 18, I think. There were 18 or 16. I think maybe 16 performers that were in all like the semifinals and everything. So yeah, that's pretty amazing. Why would they all refuse? Well, because their contract was like old school K-pop slave contract. There was a lot of stipulations. Stipulated that you could not perform in Russia. I'm not sure for how long, but for a lot of Ukrainian singers, as controversial as it is, and that's another subtopic, I was reading someone was having an issue with the fact that Ukrainians do go to Russia to perform. But they're not allowed to perform in the country of Russia. And they are not allowed to do any interviews, or they have to be approved interviews or something. They're not allowed to improvise on stage. I don't know if that just meant doing a riff or like ending your song and doing like a political speech. They're not allowed to, they were not being paid. Their travel was not being paid to Tel Aviv. Their accommodation was not being paid. Everything they had to pay for themselves. Which isn't such a big problem for me, and I'll explain that why. And the other one, though, which was a problem for me, is that they were not getting paid at all to represent Ukraine. Now, some people may be like, oh my God, people actually get paid to do this. I would say everyone gets paid. Obviously, people do Eurovision for exposure, but some people get paid a lot of money. In the UK, a lot of times, a lot of celebrities get paid a lot of money. It just depends on how much the broadcaster wants them. In the UK, I'm sure Blue got paid a lot. Bonnie Tyler was reported to get paid a lot, although that didn't really work out. And a lot of country celebrities do get paid a lot to have them represent. Some get paid like just a regular amount to perform as well. And so even so, that's fine. But to not get paid at all, wow, to only get paid in exposure, not so great. Considering the amount of money that Ukraine makes from this kind of thing, from ratings and all that. So the reason why I don't have a problem with being paid for travel expenses is because she's actually with a record label. And a lot of times a record label will actually fund a lot of your entry into Eurovision. It'll usually be a combined amount. Like, I mean, there'll be a combined budget, the record label paying, and then the broadcaster paying. They'll usually combine in financially supporting your representation. And that includes travel expenses and things like that. Sometimes maybe the record label will take that bill. I'm not so sure. But also, speaking of record label, apparently, allegedly, after she won, the broadcaster realized that her record label was Warner Music Russia, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want, a Russian record label partaking or paying for our participation in Ukraine." So all this happened. Firstly, why didn't they know that she was with Warner Music Russia before they even selected her to be in the national selection? And apparently a lot of other artists competing were in the same boat. They had a Russian record label, which is not so unusual. Remember, whoever won Malta X Factor would go on to represent Malta and get a recording contract with, I think it was EMI Italy. So a similar situation there. How they did not work that out beforehand and realize, oh, that's not something we want, I don't know. Comment below, get involved, let me know what you think of this whole situation. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm just here. I'm ready to listen to what people have to say, and I will comment as well about it. But for now, I'm just kind of filling people in on the saga. So and I'm kind of at the end of what I was talking about. But they didn't want to deal with a Russian record label, and so apparently, allegedly, and so that was a big reason as well for her withdrawal. Now they're internally selecting. I don't know where they're going to find someone that they're not going to pay, that's going to agree to go unpaid, that's going to agree to go with no interviews or not perform in Russia. You're going to get like a propaganda act, probably. I really don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, would love to know what you think. Love to know your opinions on this. I'm here waiting. That's kind of everything. So I'd just like to know. Otherwise, if no one's going to say anything live, I guess I'm going to have to check out the comments after this. I know I'm going to get a lot off camera. I would have really liked to tackle some of them on camera because it just makes the whole thing so much easier. Sometimes when you type, context and all that. So I would have really, I was hoping that this was going to be a really fun discussion. Maybe if I was a bit more famous, I would have had a lot of comments. And I've seen other people get a lot of comments on their videos. So it didn't really work out for me. Anyway, I thought it was a really interesting issue to tackle as a community. And yeah, I just want to know what people think about the whole situation, their thoughts. What do you think of internal selection? Do you think Ukraine should be suspended? I'll kind of tell you, I think maybe the broadcaster don't know their identity right now. They don't know what's going on. Maybe they need to take a year off. I'm surprised nothing crazy happened at 2017 Eurovision. I know Yonala Sand had some issues with Ukraine broadcaster as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Comment. Let me know what you think of this whole situation. I'd love to know. I'd love to get engaged. Let me know. Can we just have Zlata Ognjević represent? I would love that. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I love me some Zlata Ognjević. But yeah, it's just such a shame. It really is. Okay, well, I've got to keep the ball rolling. Anyone want to comment about Ukraine, about what's happening, about Maruv not representing Ukraine anymore, about what Jamala said? There's so much to talk about with this, about now Ukraine's internal selection process. Should Ukraine withdraw from Eurovision this year? Should they be suspended? These are just things that I just want to know what other people think of this. because I had some good conversations on the fan club this morning. And yes, I'm not so sure if I've got any, if I'm going to get anywhere. But I just know that after this video, I'm going to get a lot of comments. So I would like a lot of comments now while I'm here. But it looks like that's not going to happen. So if I don't get any comments, I guess I will be going. Yeah, I'm looking at the video count and getting some people come on and they leave. I'm just seeing if they're going to come on and comment. But yeah, that is really controversial. It's a thing that I know Eurovision fans like talking about when things go haywire like this. It's such a shame. But and also a national selection. They put so much effort in. They didn't even just have one show. They had 2 semifinals and a final. And then they just disregarded the whole thing. Like, the amount of money that's been spent and just blown out the window. It's crazy. People have been like, just forget everything that happened. Yeah, it's amazing. And why people didn't know also, I must say with the contestants, why did they not know their contract until after they won is what I don't understand. Because I know that when you, like, say, I always talk about Idol, not many countries even talk about Idol anymore, but I know on Idol, when you go on Idol, you go and when you audition, you have to sign like a contract right there on your audition, and it's pretty much your winner's contract. Like, you get given the contract, you have to sign it there and then at the audition. And so then when you win, you're like, well, you've already signed all your contract and everything. So it's difficult, because when you've come through it, you might be able to afford having like a lawyer and an agent. You don't really go to auditions with a lawyer present. So yeah, but I'm just very shocked at the whole thing. The whole thing is really sloppy. If all of this is true, yeah. Anyway, no one is watching now, so I'm going to go. Yeah, so we shall see. Will I be reviewing a new Ukrainian song that we don't even know of yet? Or will there be no Ukraine participating in Eurovision this year and they will withdraw? And I don't know how. I think they may be past the date of withdrawing. And I wouldn't say that they have a good reason to withdraw, because no, they could. This all could have been avoided. But anyway, okay. Well, on that note, I'll be going. Subscribe, because I do a lot more reviews. I'll be reviewing every single entry this year. And on that note, bonsoir Europe, and goodbye.